Hi, Ian Newton here. Welcome back to Roadmap to Vibrant Health, and I want to talk to you about the reason we want to do fat burning rather than sugar burning. So I'll do some diagrams here. So let's say that's an artery and you have nutrients flowing through there, and you've just eaten a sugar-rich meal and you've got lots of calories pumping around inside. Now what happens is the pancreas says too much sugar, so it sends in insulin to start to gather up this sugar, and it takes it into fat cells. So the insulin takes the sugar calories into the fat cells. Now a couple of things happen here. One, you've extracted your energy source away from where you want it, and so you've got all these fat cells that are full of energy, but now you're hungry. You feel like there's no energy, so you eat again. This explains why we can eat sugary foods and feel hungry soon after, because the insulin is trying to pull the sugar, the glucose, out of your bloodstream. Now it goes into here, and some of this is used as energy, but some of it will be deposited as fat. It's converted to long chain triglycerides, and it's another word for fats. This is part of the problem of eating sugar. It's a sense that you need to eat more even though you have plenty of energy stores. Now we don't need to store much sugar in the way of energy. We have a storage system called glycogen, and glycogen, we don't need very much sugar in our diet. We can get enough glycogen from breaking down protein. We don't need to be eating lots of sugar to do this. And glycogen stores are stored in our muscles, and then if things get really bad, we can release that glycogen. If you're running a marathon, for example, most of us aren't running marathons, so we don't need to do this. So the other thing is, you have bloodstream, you eat a fat-rich meal, and you end up with fat calories floating around. Now, fat calories do not attract insulin to pull them out of the bloodstream. So those calories remain as a viable energy source for much longer. And you can draw on that. But importantly, you don't feel hungry. And so some of the fat will find its way into the fat cells. But most of that is going to be burnt. Now, if you just eat way too much fat, if you consume loads and loads of fat, you're going to have excess fat in the fat cells. But if you consume enough fat, like you do on this program, for energy, that's what you'll have. You'll have energy available here, a little bit goes into here for some backup energy. You'll burn that. It's what we call becoming fat adaptive. You will burn that energy. And that's what we want to do. We want to be burning fat rather than burning sugar, because sugar, running on sugar, it's like throwing fuel onto a fire. It goes up in a big lot of energy, but then you have to do it again and do it again. Probably a better analogy is if you're trying to keep a bonfire going with pine, and pine burns very rapidly, but if you can get some hardwood logs on it, well then the hardwood logs burn slowly and give you better energy. That's what being fat adaptive is all about. And the good thing is, because a volume of fat has roughly twice the calories of volume of sugar, you don't have to eat a whole lot of fat. You can eat a much smaller volume than you would have to of the sugar, because remember, the sugar is going up and we have to keep replacing it. So this is a very simple way to consider this. Now, within these fat cells, there are other processes. There's an inflammatory process goes on. When these fat cells are working all the time with all this sugar and trying to do things, converting it to fat, they get described as being angry. Fat cells are angry, and angry fat cells create inflammation. Inflammation creates pain in your body. Now that could manifest as joint pain. It could manifest as skin rashes. headaches, bronchitis, all sorts of things. Anything where there's inflammation running in your body, potentially it's going to be made much, much worse by the consumption of sugar and drawing it into your body. So there's something for you to think about. It's just how this all works. Thank you. I'm Ian Newton, and I wish you the very best on your journey to vibrant health.